You have to navigate that with 650 agents.
We actually have a pretty funny story. Someone that works for me and someone that works for you are married.
I get to give a gift without charging like a really hefty price tag for all of this
I
information.
think 7 billion was what I heard about a year ago. What is that number today? Well, hey, Stacie, thanks for coming on the podcast. It's great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you. I'm excited to talk today.
We actually have a pretty funny story. Someone that works for me and someone that works for you are married, and we've never met in person, but we've talked to each other a few times over the last couple of years. And it's great to hear all the stuff you've done, and excited to catch up today.
Yeah, it's such a unique meeting, but it's amazing. We have great people that work with us, and so we got to connect and hit it off right away. We have so many mutual thoughts about business and how we do things and adding value to people around us. So, yeah, it's been fun.
And in the honor of the solar eclipse, I've created a solar eclipse look and feel of my podcast today. In fact, the light just went off behind me. I'm not even going to fix it because we're going to go with the dark solar eclipse podcast. All right.
It's
Um,
perfect. If I need glasses, let me know.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, no, one thing I think is really interesting is that, first of all, your story, you had a very, very successful real estate, you know, team brokerage. You actually sold that business. I believe you moved into coaching. Tell me about kind of your history, and tell me about, where you're located, the states that you've done business in, and that whole experience from having a large team, selling it, and continuing on from there.
Yeah, so I was, started out individual agent, quickly was a co-owner of a team, and then we dissolved that team and then started what I would call like a high accountability, high production team. And so that team, I grew from 0 to 300 transactions in 5 years in a small market. I'm in
Wow.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Yeah.
Our metro area was 150,000. Now it's up to 200,000, but it's a small market to have 300 transactions in. I had a small team. It was 10 people. So it wasn't 50 people. Agents were highly productive. We provided a lot of services for them to go out and build a business. And so I sold that team and then moved into coaching because that really was where my heart was. I love to create systems and processes and help people run those to make their business seamless. Like it runs like a well-oiled machine. So I've had the opportunity to coach high level teams and agents for the last 10 years. I still hold my real estate license and now moved it over to eXp Realty, which allows me to now share all of this coaching and knowledge and tools with people in my organization and allow them to share it with other agents. So I look at it like I get to give a gift without charging like a really hefty price tag for all of this
Yeah.
information. And I get to see agents grow, and I just absolutely love it.
First of all, that's a ton of transactions in a small market. So, and to move that quickly, I mean, 5 years is not a lot of time. What do you think looking back? What were the key differentiators that you offered that kind of made you guys grow at that level?
Yeah, I think number one, it was getting really good at our CRM so we could create a database system to allow people to do business with us multiple times. So when you grow that system from people just knowing you into really trusting you and then referring their friends, that was one of the biggest things. We had tons of repeat and referral business, and we could help the agents duplicate that as well. And number two, I would say systems. Like I mentioned, I love creating automations, presentations. Well, I don't create them all, but come up with all the ideas, right? It gets put into place for me. But basically, our whole idea behind the team was we want your dreams to grow inside of our business, and we're going to provide you with everything you need so you get to show up as the expert, as the specialist. So buyer agents had presentations ready for them, analysis ready for them, all the tools, kept in touch with them without them having to do every single piece. And so it just took fire. And we were good at branding too, I would say. And it just took off and people worked with us.
That's awesome. Now, when I hear systems, a couple things that come to mind. we actually set up a retention program for real estate agents through Client Giant. I don't know if you're familiar with Client Giant, or do you use them?
Love Client Giant.
Yeah. And, it's automates gift giving, but it's still very personalized and great gifts, right? And when you have 100 clients or 200, or you're doing 300 transactions a year, and you've been doing it for 5 years, I mean, you could spend a full-time job just giving gifts away, and you don't have time for that as a real estate agent, right? So it sounds like tools like that, processes like that automate the process, but still are impactful for your buyers and sellers. Is that right?
100%. And you nailed it. It's once you start to have enough business, the wheels fall off the bus. You cannot keep all these things straight. And if you're a person that likes to keep track of their birthdays and anniversaries, like you're just not going to hit all those touch points. And so using a system such as Client Giant, which I wish it was around when I was building my team, because we would have 100% used it. I use it today. And you're right, the gifts are beautiful. And I love it that you guys use it as a business for retention as well, because it's perfect. It takes all that liability of thinking about things and organizing it and finding gifts off the agent's plate.
Yep. You mentioned, you don't sell currently anymore. Do you ever sneak out there from time to time and sell a house or represent someone, or are you completely done with that?
So I am done with it, and I just actually completed a couple transactions this last year. I had some good friends, and this goes to say it's important to make sure that you are a professional in the marketplace. And so I had a couple. One was a past client, one was a friend, and one was a referral. So there was three, and came to me asking if I would help them because they knew I would do a good job. And I really had not been in production for 6 years.
Yeah.
So it is interesting, right? When you build the right things, that they thought of me as an agent, number one, right? And number two, that they knew I could get the job done without having marketed my services for 6+ years.
Sure. You had said you sold your business and then you joined EXP. Did that happen together at the same time, or is it you sold your business and then down the road you moved to EXP?
Yeah, yep. I had my business. I did not own the brokerage. So my team was just a team. We didn't have bricks and mortar, nothing like that. And that team was sold in 2016. And then I joined EXP end of 2020. So there was a 4-year period there where I wasn't aligned with EXP or my team. I just had my license sitting at a brokerage.
Cool. For those that don't know, and tell me if my numbers are wrong, but I believe you have a small downline, 1.7 billion was what I heard about a year ago. What is that number today?
Yeah, so we're right over 1.9 for the last 12 months. So we always calculate it,
Yep.
whatever month we're at. And the coolest thing is I have now 650 plus agent partners is what I look at it like.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all financially aligned. We're growing our businesses together, and I'm allowed to share tools and training and systems. And plus we have access to agents, not just because they're paid, because we're all part of this culture and this organization and community. And so we get to hear from agents, hey, what's happening in North Carolina versus California versus Texas? And how do we take all this information and use it in our local markets? So I love the uniqueness of that type of model where you've got a proven company, you've got extra things for agents like healthcare and leads and a CRM system. Like they're investing directly into our businesses.
Yeah.
And then we're allowed as agents to really have true collaboration.
Nice. So is it specific to your downline? Is it all over the place? What does that look like?
Yeah, good question. So I do have coaching for my downline, and then I do outside coaching. So if they're not with EXP or they're wanting to grow their business, then I do separate coaching as well for those agents.
Awesome. I believe one of the things you're coaching on recently is the mix up of the NAR lawsuit and how to deal with that. What are you educating your clients on and your agent?
Yeah. So, there's such a mixed feeling, I think, among the real estate community of people, some people are really scared. Some people are like, oh, it's not going to be a change. So you have to navigate that with 650 agents,
Yeah.
but also, the real estate industry as a whole. And so today, for instance, we did a training that included, how do you list a buyer? We do very specific things on the listing side. We handle it really process oriented. We meet with them, we present, there's a level of expectation, I think, on the listing side that hasn't happened for everyone on the buy side. So today we taught a process and gave out over 100 pages of things they can use to include like a pre-buy packet. Why should somebody meet with you? What's your value? How do you articulate that value? What are the objection handlers? Like, what if someone says, I just want to see the house, I don't want to meet with you? How are you going to handle those things? What's a presentation look like that actually adds value? So all these things up front build your value. So then when you need to talk about what your fee is and how that's going to be handled, it's a much easier conversation. So my goal is to just help agents navigate this, in a way that gives them more confidence.
Sure. I'm sure there's people listening that are saying, yeah, I would like some of those tools. If they want those tools, what is the best way to get a hold of you and to kind of
Yes.
start a conversation with you?
Yes, so I'm on all socials. My handle is This Is Stacie Peterson, and Stacie is with an IE. Peterson is with an ON and a T, I guess.
Yeah.
But you can find me there. You can send me a message, and I'm happy to, give you access to our training, get you those documents, whatever we can do to help.
Awesome. But how many agents do you have in different states, or how many states would you say you have agents across the country?
Yes, that's a good question. I don't know how many states. It's not all
Yeah.
50 yet,
Okay.
but
Okay.
we
Mhm.
have 650 agents spread throughout the United States, Canada, and we have some in Spain as well.
Very cool.
So we have a great mix all across the country, and it's just so fun to get to meet these agents that I would have not otherwise been able to do that in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, right? So
Sure.
now I get to have agents all over the United States, and it's just such a cool community.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a lot of different brokerages. I've heard, people sing the praises of EXP for sure. In fact, I just had a Carrie Shull on last week. I don't know if you're familiar with Carrie, but her
Mm-hmm.
team did 700 million, a couple years ago here in the Virginia area. And she joined EXP in the past kind of, I guess, year, maybe a little bit longer than that. So are you guys in
Yeah.
the same network? Have y'all ever been, connected together?
We're not in the same network. However, her and I were both at a leadership meeting a couple weeks ago, maybe almost a month. And so we got to meet and talk. And yeah, she's got fantastic, ideas, and she's in the market and she's in it. So yeah, it was really great to connect with her as well.
So you owned your own team, which, by the way, 5 years to go to 300 transactions. Hats off to you. That's amazing. Sold your business. Have been with EXP. You've been coaching. What's your goal with your business moving forward? Are we retiring anytime soon, or are we keeping going with this current growth trajectory?
Yeah, I really do want to grow, helping more agents. So that's going to look like in terms of partnering with me and also hopefully coaching them. Because I think that when you have someone in your corner that has done the thing you want to do, which is, grow your business without a lot of hassle, saving you time, create a great income, choose who you want to work with because it's stable. When you have that opportunity to learn from someone, I wish I had that when I started.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here's the roadmap. I would have probably grown faster and not had as many bumps along the road. And so my goal is to reach as many agents as I can. And, maybe it's being from the Midwest, maybe it's just who I am, but I love to help people. And it's not so much if your business grows. That's not my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is really, I want your family or your legacy to be people were glad in your circle that you were a realtor and you were in real estate because you opened their eyes to opportunity. Maybe it's home ownership, maybe it's entrepreneurship, maybe it's how you give, Maybe it's how you give of your time. So that's really my ultimate goal, is that through real estate, we're able to create better lives that our family and generations of our family are able to enjoy.
I love it. I love it. You said when you kind of got in the industry, you had systems in place, you had processes. Did you have a previous career that taught you those things? What stage of your life did you end up getting into real estate, and what did you do before that?
Yeah, so no, I didn't have systems like necessarily set up before or learn that. I started real estate at 25. So graduated from college. I worked for a cosmetics company for a while, and then I worked for a hotel company in sales. So I've always kind of been in sales.
Yeah.
So I understood, needing to have a form to fill out, or, okay, once it goes here, then it goes here. But I think mostly I create systems out of a way to have more confidence and maybe less anxiety about the
Mhm.
process, and to keep me on track
Right.
because I'll veer off, some other way if I don't have sort of the steps in front of me of what needs to happen. And you want to provide the best possible service. And I don't think you can do that if you don't have things laid out. And also, just like with Client Giant, automation set up to help duplicate yourself. So there can, be three or four of you instead of just you having to do all the things and running around crazy.
Yeah. Are there other third party products that you utilize, kind of like Client Giant, that have made your life easier?
Yeah, I love Trello. So I do so much on Trello. And I'm a visual person who actually loves paper. You can't see my whole office, but I've got flip charts over here with all these like mind maps and drawings. And,
Yeah.
like I'm a very visual person. But Trello allows me to communicate with my VAs. It allows me to keep myself on track. So we build a lot of things in Trello: content plans, our quarterly Q2 goals, our annual plans, even some systems that we share with agents. So I love Trello and the use of it and the ease of it. And then so many things work with Trello, like calendars and,
Hmm.
you know, different things. So Trello's a big one.
I like it. No, you know, funny world that, we ended up finding someone overseas, they're married to each other. When did you start that process of, utilizing some VAs? We actually didn't start it till probably about a year and a half ago. It's been an amazing experience for us.
Mm.
And how many VAs and people across the world do you have working for you?
Yeah, so I really figured out how to work well with someone that wasn't next to me, like a VA, in probably about 2016. And I just realized that in order to have a virtual assistant, you have to be a better communicator, or things like Trello where they can pop in, Google Meet, Google Chat, all those things. It's just getting better at communicating. Because if they're sitting beside you, you're probably yelling across the hall, "Hey, can you do this for
Yeah.
me?" So I realized, man, I'm wasting their time, my time, by just, yelling things. Let's do it this way. So, and you want the best fit for the position, and sometimes they're just not in your backyard.
Sure.
So love, love, love VAs. I have two that work for me now, and they're amazing. I truly consider them business partners. We are building this business together, and they are 100% bought in. I'm 100% bought into them. I mean, I treat them and they treat me like they have a stake in the business. Like
Yeah.
that's how we operate.
So completely agree with you. Virtual assistants. I was always concerned there might be, if maybe there was some language barriers or whatever. I mean, it's been truly some of the best hires we've ever had. Give us some examples of how they work for you in the real estate industry and how you've been successful with VAs and overseas hires.
Yeah, and that's such a good point, because I think a lot of people are worried about time and language. That, man, how are we going to ever bridge that gap? And what if I need something immediately? And so I think that with growing a real estate team or growing your business, you need people in place to help you. And virtual assistants can be such a great option, because they could do the thing, they can help you get to your top 20%, which is you know, prospecting, negotiating, presenting, showing homes. Like there's just really a bulk of a small amount of things that an agent truly needs to do themselves in their business. The rest of it, a high level virtual assistant like we have can handle. And so it's all in knowing what you want and then finding the person that can help you get there. And there's different hiring mechanisms for, virtual assistants. You could use one of many. But the key is really letting them know what your ultimate goal is, and then they can help create the system. They can help get that value out into the world. So it could be even communicating with clients. Maybe it's not on the phone directly, but emails and,
Mhm.
title and all those types of things can happen through a VA. Also, flyers, keeping tracking going, getting presentations ready. We had ours doing market analysis even. Like
Mhm.
we would give the information, they would put it all together. So I I always say if if you made a quick list as a real estate agent, so take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, write $20 on one side, write $200 on the other side. Anything that you're doing that is less than $200, I'm just categorizing it
Yeah.
as, the other side. So write them under the 15, 12, $20, whatever number you put there. So put it under that $20 column. Anything that's $200 or more an hour. So this would be things like presenting to clients, negotiating, showing homes, which actually I will argue you don't have to do yourself as an agent. You can have other people helping you with that,
Yeah.
but we'll just put that in the $200 column. The $200 column is what you need to do. You're going to have this huge $20
Right.
column. And if it's more than 5 or 6 things, which it would be for any agent selling at least 15 homes a year,
Yep.
at least,
Yep.
you need to take a look at a virtual assistant,
Yep. Yeah.
somebody to help you.
I have a friend of mine, really smart guy, owns his own marketing agency. And I'm like, you have to hire someone immediately. And even if you don't think you need them right now, they will allow you to scale your business because you have more time to go out and talk to customers and get more business. Right.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
exactly. That's exactly it. It frees up time to do the things that you need to do to grow your business. And that's what it's all about. That's what we're all trying to do, grow our business.
I love it. I love it. All right. So I've got a couple, we always mix things up. We do things a little different each podcast. So we have a rapid fire section and we have a this or that question section. So I'm going to go into the rapid fire section. Do you believe that social media, assists real estate agents in generating business, or is it not really a business generator?
I think 100% it helps you generate business. I think it cannot be your only lever, meaning you don't want all your eggs in one basket, but that could be a big one for you. It might be a small one for you, but I 100% believe in social media.
I like it. Yeah, we actually, we've interviewed quite a few different people on the podcast. One guy has many millions of views. It's interesting because I see him all the time, and everyone knows him from social media. But he has said, "Hey, listen, even though I do a lot of business, I've only gotten a couple leads from social media. But it doesn't mean it doesn't help convince people to hire him as the listing agent because he gets so much exposure. There's a lot of additional
Yeah.
benefits around there, but it might not produce as many deals as you actually think it would.
Exactly. It's hard to quantify because I look at it really as a branding piece. Just like people that do billboards, radio ads, things like that, that's a branding piece. And so social media, I think, is a branding piece. And sometimes the client that you're going to sign up forgets to tell you, oh, yeah, I've been watching your YouTube or your TikTok or whatever for a year or two, or I saw that one thing because the algorithm fed it to me. And then I remembered I saw your sign on a corner. So sometimes it's really hard to track back to the initial source.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, it's going to enhance what you're doing. And just like we look, if you're buying something from Amazon, right? The first thing I look at is how many reviews does it have? Is it like 2,000 5-star reviews? Is it one 3-star review, right? And so social media is like that as well. is the more when they click on you, that's your new website. How many videos do you have? How
Mhm.
many stories do you have? Do you have highlights or not? So they're just going to check you out in another way.
I love it. We talked about some systems and things in place where it improves your life. What's a productivity hack that you do not believe
Oh, okay. I have a real strong opinion on, on
in?
this one. I do not believe in the 2 minute rule. And the 2 minute rule is if you touch something and you can do something with it in 2 minutes, do it so you don't touch it again. I think that just becomes a focus nightmare.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, I'm looking up properties for a client, and then I have to go to my email because I don't have their phone number in my CRM. So I go to my email, and then I'm like, oh, shoot, this says, hey, are we still on for 4 o'clock? I could respond to that in 2 seconds. But now my focus is completely taken off of the task that I have. And the average for Fortune 500 CEOs, the average focus time per day is 45 minutes.
Okay.
So, can you imagine what it is for the rest of us who have
Yeah.
lots of things coming at us? So, I do not believe in that 2 minute rule. I think it is ridiculous. And you should just like try to do the task that you're doing. We're all going to get distracted. But if you have that in your head, you're going to be running around like crazy. So,
The other thing on that is everything takes a lot longer than you think it does. Oh, I'm just going to send
yeah,
this quick email. It'll be 5 minutes. 42 minutes later, the email finally gets sent out. And oh, wow, I got really freaking distracted there. Right.
exactly. Yeah. And then you forgot what you originally were doing. And then you're like, oh my gosh, now I got to get some water. And yeah, it's
Exactly.
never what you.
What do you see the future of the real estate industry? What does it look like?
I think it is going, there are still going to be buyer agents. There's still going to be listing agents. I think we're going to see a next level of professionalism that is needed. And meaning agents are going to present more. We're going to talk about what we actually do. We're probably going to work a little harder on finding properties for clients and continually following up with them, which I mean, I also have gotten lazy many times as an agent. The client finds the property, I show it to them, they write an offer. I mean, best thing ever, but did I really show them value? And now when they need an agent in the future or their friends need an agent, are they going to be able to say, you have to use my agent because?
Mm-hmm.
So I think some of this will get flushed out as the industry is going to see some changes.
Yep.
But as long as you get your mindset right, you're going to be able to get over this. Just like COVID, it happened to us, it was dropped on us. Who would have thought like the world's shutting down? This is going to be the same type of thing. It's going to be rocky and then it's going to straighten itself out, and professional agents will be just fine.
Yep. Love it. All right, I've got a section this or that. All right, so for coaching, new agents or experienced agents?
Me personally, I am much better with experienced agents just because the level of detail and systems and what I've done is more tailored to that.
Yep, go. Uh, Workshops or one-on-one coaching?
That's really hard. One-on-one coaching, if you really want personalized answers, service, things like that. Workshops, if you want the overall vision of how something is going to go. So I love one-on-one, but I also love the one-to-many, which is workshops, because you can help so many more people. So I can't really pick a this or that.
That's fair. I think
I'm
it's.
going to
I
say
think
both.
you proved your point on both of those. That was good.
Okay.
Um, for team building, hiring experienced agents or training new talent. Okay.
So team, if you're building a real estate team,
Yeah.
most people, when they want to add agents to their team, they're trying to decide, do I want a brand new agent where I have to spend a lot of time helping them get going, helping them understand real
Yeah.
estate? Like there's so many phases. Or do I hire an experienced agent, which we may have to help undo some bad habits,
Mm-hmm.
get them into our system. So I'm going to say I had both on my team. And both were great for different reasons. I'm going to answer it this way. If you are building a team, new agents may be great because they're willing to take the time while you're learning how to build this team and add value and get your stuff in place. If you're an existing team, experienced agents would be more willing to join that structure because it's a business built already.
Mhm.
So both are great. I think you just have to know where you're at in your trajectory and then work accordingly.
No, I think that's a good point. Like, someone might have been in the business for a long time, might have some bad habits, right? There's pros and cons
Mm-hmm.
probably to both situations.
Yeah, totally. I got plenty of bad habits.
And finally, early morning client calls or late night strategy sessions.
Early morning client calls, 1000%. You have to protect your time, especially as a real estate agent. And also when you're helping other agents, I think get it done early, often, eat that frog, be done, spend your time at home with your family. They're the ones waiting on you. This is why you're building all these great things in your business. So you got to have the time to spend with them. So I always pick morning over evening.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I'm more of a night person, but I don't want to be working late at night.
Yeah.
Now with the addition of coffee in my life, though, which I will go super aggressive in the morning, I will do 4 to 6 cups in the morning. I mean, I am pretty damn productive in the morning now. That's with some outside influence.
That's right. That's right. We all need that coffee, right? Or tea or whatever your mojo is. But yeah, I definitely have to have it as well.
I'm glad we got to catch up, and Matt and I are working through some different things. We actually just expanded to Colorado. We're having a lot of success there. It's pretty cool. And then we've got to continue to talk about going to business together on the title side.
Yes, for sure. I'd love to help you guys grow. I know you do a great job, and I think the agents, would love it, be open to it, and yeah, so I'd love to continue that.